Is whether men should equally share the blame for couples that are struggling to get a child. Now, historically, the woman has suffered the burden of blame, and we seek to find out if that blame has been fair. But now, before we get on that, Daktari, because I know a lot of people are curious and they want to know that, but before we get on that, on who's to blame or who's not to blame, from your own experience as a fertility expert and as an African man, what is it that you feel scares men from confronting this issue?
The issue of fertility is a complicated issue, especially when it comes to men. I'll start with a story.
Okay. We love stories.
Yes. One time a gentleman came to see me. He was, I think, somewhere from Marsabit or Mandera. I can't exactly remember.
Okay.
But he came with sperm test result. And the sperm test result actually showed that there were no sperm at all.
Oh, wow.
Zero sperm. What you call azoospermia.
Okay.
So when I took the medical history, because you take the medical history, what is the problem, how long this problem has been going on, and the information he gave me was a bit sad, if I can put it that way. He had got married quite some time before. The guy was, I think, about in the 40s.
Okay.
And from the first wife, they had a daughter. They disagreed and they divorced.
Okay.
He got married to a second wife, stayed with her for 2-3 years, divorced because they couldn't have a baby. Got married the third time, the same story, 3 years, no baby, divorced. The fourth time, again, the same period of time, no baby, divorced. This was actually the fifth wife.
Wow.
As it were.
And this guy is in his 40s.
And this guy was in the 40s, and the lady was, I think, in the 20s. Actually, I think she was around 25, 26.
Okay.
So, of course, when we get such results, what we want to do is want to make sure that the results are okay. So I sent him for another test altogether.
Okay.
I assumed that the other one was faulty. So the one that came, it was also zero sperm. So he was azoospermic. And
when you say zero sperm, let me slow down a bit. What exactly do you mean by zero sperm?
Bro.
That other word.
Please.
Azoospermic.
What it basically means is that in the ejaculate, there was not one sperm. There was zero completely.
Okay.
So I sent him for some other tests, and they came back that actually he was not producing sperm at all. So, and he was desperate. With the first meeting when I met him, he told me, Daktari, this is, a do or die. Why? Because the family, the in-laws had started now questioning what is happening. They've been married for 2 years. So it was getting to that time when he normally divorces with the women. And they wanted a baby ASAP.
Yeah.
So when we went through the results again, and he asked me a pertinent question. He said, but Daktari, what is the problem? That is number one. I explained to him, what the issue was. And then he asked me something which I could not, a question which I could not answer. Yes, but Daktari, we had one child with my first wife.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Whose is that child?
Yikes. Wow.
And obviously, I didn't know the answer. I said, I don't know. What you need to do, you may need to go back to your first wife and, have this conversation and see where the problem was or where the problem is. Because obviously from the second wife, third wife, fourth wife, and he was on the fifth wife, he was not going to have a baby with.
Can I ask a question on that part? Because this is the consequences of this. Who was initiating these divorces? Did he tell you?
I think it was him.
Okay.
I think it was him. And then he mentioned something else, that every time he divorced, these women went and got married again and they had children.
Okay.
So obviously the problem was in his side.
Yes.
The only thing is that it's very difficult for us men to accept that we have a problem.
Yes.
And once we don't have that, let me call it strength, quote unquote, to actually come and say, look, I have an issue and I need help.
Yeah.
We have a problem with that. So coming back to the introductory question that you asked.
Yes.
Is it possible that we men can have are contributory to this problem? Yes, we are. Actually, in a very, very big way.